dog am I keeping? Pick a dog, any dog. If you're both in here, please be nice. Luna. That was so weird. Am I here twice?
Are you? I don't think so. I only see you once.
I only see you once.
Hi. That was so odd.
Good.
Okay. That's never happened.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was weird.
Take a moment and breathe if you need to.
Yes. No stress. No stress.
Ran around, pulled cables. I'm like, what is happening? Okay. Let's go back.
We are live though.
Gaming at all.
Oh, that just connected. Cool. Good to know. Yay, internet. Thanks, Miriam. Let me just pause to fix everybody's thing again. Oh, goodness.
Like, I literally just saw the Twitch bot in the Great channel. They're like, at everyone, we're live. I'm like, no, we're live.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be the last episode if there weren't any technical difficulties. So.
True.
Honestly, we've gone so far with none of them.
Exactly.
We've done pretty well.
All right. That looks good. That looks good.
So, are we going to do our whole intro again?
Sure. I'm just going to jump back into it.
Hey, we're back.
And be
Yeah.
able
Hey, we're back.
The last thing you heard was?
Just like that. I just need a refresher on like the last 20 seconds.
So
I
as
cut out, I think.
got DOSed.
Yep.
And that's where things kind of went frozen.
Were you going to use your staff? That was where it kind of died on me. And I'm like, is he like...
Yeah, so I was pole vaulting with the staff and then midair hurling smudge towards the scene of everything.
That's beautiful and really intense. However, so I'm going to... You are absolutely able to toss your goblin chosen friend. However, smudge will hit the magical pillar with a 9. It's gonna be 1 harm. I'm gonna track these harms. I mean, you're welcome to as well. But
Epic traumatic charge and move.
Smack.
Oh.
Slide down, definitely. Perfect. Smudge, you... Oh, I lost our turn order.
I think everybody had gone once Smudge finishes his turn.
Okay.
Yeah,
Smudge.
let's skip me for the moment and come back after other folks have had done their thing.
Okay.
So,
Faryad, you are trapped inside this magical holding cell, as it were. You don't feel like you can use your magical powers. Like you are still here. You are still present, just as the high priest is still here and he is still present. But bringing forth your magic is not something you can feel. You can't do that right now. So with that being said, how would you like to act?
I think I try to do a little magic, like sort of try to summon like some of my pudding and everything. See, it's not happening. And I'm going to crawl to his head and try to basically suffocate him with my body.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just trying to envelope his face. And I sort of yell. I don't know if anyone can hear me. It's like, drop the field!
That's up to them if they can hear you over the roaring elements.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say it as loud as I can as I try to basically squish him with my body.
Kick some ass? I think.
Yep. Okay, so that is a 12. No, actually 13.
Oh my goodness. What extra effect would you like?
Uh, ooh. Um, I am going to continue to try to hold the advantage. All hunters involved in the fight get a +1 forward because I don't know if I can do double damage with my. It's more of an effect than harm.
Okay. Everybody, please don't forget that I think you now have +2 forward.
Yeah.
For a combat roll, though.
Cool.
Okay, so I kind of, chime in where you want to reconstruct it, but because you were on his back, I just picture you kind of climbing your way over his head and just literally wrapping yourself over, and you are absolutely able to accomplish this task, but not without suffering, not without taking harm. For just, you are now, yeah, I mean, like, he is just like this pillar of power, and I'm imagining you kind of leave behind like those black marks that your I don't know why I cannot remember the term.
Pudding.
Pudding.
Black pudding.
That your pudding had created. It's because it's just like kind of a part of you. So you leave behind this residue all over his body, and it extinguishes a part of him. And underneath, with the rain that's cascading, and it penetrates this magical shield because it is a non-magic source, it starts to wash away parts of the pudding, and what's revealed underneath is parts of a very, very frail old man. So once again, just mark one more harm, please.
Yep. I can only do that one more time now.
Okay. Ha ha ha. Killian and Gwem. Alan is she's on her knees. She's having a hard time maintaining this. And she's starting to suffer consequences as a result of maintaining this magical shield.
Okay.
I think we should drop it.
I mean, see how
Everyone
Len
else
is.
needs it down.
Yes, let's.
Alan,
Yeah,
drop
let's just
it. Drop the magic.
Yeah, let's drop it.
Yeah, okay. And the field goes down, and Elen kind of face plants into the ground.
I think when seeing Faryad, because we can like see that Faryad's getting smaller now, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think she would just like scream, Faryad, let go. Like, let go. You can't keep doing this. Let go.
Fired, I'm gonna need you to like really just get off of him. We got Smudge now. He's here. Just you're doing, just slide off. Get off of him. I'm hoping we can finish this hearing now, but you're in the way.
I have a question.
Yes.
It might be not this action. It might have to be a later action. But did we ever figure out how to heal Faryad? Is like a potion? Does a potion do it, or is it something that's like a special technique?
You can act still. It's just certain actions that I can't have you, like, battle actions. I think that they probably could be healed by, like, mundane means.
Okay, cool.
You have a potion. Give it to her.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. All right.
I should. I have my health pack with me so I can figure something out.
I will stay on as long as it takes to make sure Smudge can get at him, like basically holding down so that Smudge can act. And then if Smudge acts, I would probably try to get out of the way. But if I get taken with, like, if if I'm needed to make sure he doesn't get away, I will stay on.
It's legit.
Is he even reacting to this face smother? Not thinking about it.
Roaring a little bit, but
Yeah.
no. Not particularly. Would you two like to hold your actions then? Like, is there something you'd like to
Yes.
perform? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll hold this.
Okay.
I didn't use the last action last time either. After
Not really.
I went talking, yeah, so I have like 2 actions stored up.
Okay. You're welcome to interject.
Uh,
Because I have a feeling we'll only have a couple more rounds.
nah, because
I think the action I'm holding. No, you go ahead.
Yeah, because unless I can make you stronger to somebody, it's not gonna really work in this situation.
What is that
To
again?
anybody. Can you repeat that?
I don't know who has luck points to maybe benefit from that, but that's totally up to you.
I've
that
got
ours?
4 still that I can use.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got 4 I can use too.
Yeah, I still have like my 6. I only used it once so far. Yeah, so I could waste a couple.
Uses somebody else's luck though. I can make you stronger.
I mean, you can use one of mine.
I have 1 consequence-free luck, guys, and then it's bad news bears for the whole team.
No. You good.
Like,
All right, so who wants to be empowered? I guess.
Probably
I
Smudge.
think he would benefit the most.
Yeah.
Your call.
Yeah.
All right, I'll use it. So there's also some twisted enhancements. I'll tell you afterwards.
okay.
And then I'm just holding heal stuff.
Got myself a 10.
Nice.
So
Nice.
So on a 10 plus succession, the hunter can pick 2 options. Gain a +1 ongoing to 1 basic move of choice. Gain a +1 permanent armor value to your body. Does not stack with armor. And gain a natural attack from the monstrous playbook. If the hunter goes through this process a second time, the hunter must change playbooks to the monstrous or another monster type,
cool.
e.g. summoned if using it.
That is very cool. Let me pull up the monstrous playbook.
Dang. Monstrous is really cool.
Monstrous is really cool.
Funny enough, you could just take the 2. I mean, there really isn't much extra effects, just those 3 that I wrapped off.
A natural attack from the monstrous is often claws, teeth, your good old-fashioned tearing and rending and ripping kind of moves.
Mm-hmm.
Very Smudge.
Yeah.
Want to claw his face and shit.
Okay, well...
What was the first one again?
Gain a permanent +1 ongoing to 1 basic move of your choice, and gain +1 armor value to your body. Does not stack with armor.
Okay.
That's really confusing. And then you gain a natural attack from the monstrous blade.
I think I'm going to take a +1 to the move use magic.
Okay, I like it.
We'll see if I do.
Okay. Gwen.
I'm
do?
going to also hold an action. I'm probably going to start approaching the group, the monks, Fariad and the priest and everybody. And I probably wouldn't get too close because I know I can't actually do anything and I don't want to get in the way. But I want to. Yeah, I'm very squishy, but I'm preparing, I'm pulling my healing stuff out of my bag as I go and just ready to help whoever falls. I'll be that war side battle nurse kind of person who's just ready to go. I'm getting bandages out. I'm getting potions. I'm getting salves. I'm pulling it all out of my pack and ready to go.
You're the best. I think that's great. Okay. And I think that is everybody on this this turn order.
All right.
Except for the high priest. When the barrier falters and Alen hits the ground, the high priest takes a step out, but his vision is notably obscured. And in the parts where Faryad has kind of consumed his top half, as I mentioned, you can start to see the elf underneath this bristling power, and it is older and grayer than the original high priest that had made his entrance when you first spied him. He takes a step forward in no particular direction, probably completely away from everyone because he cannot see. And then, I don't know how to word my words, but very kind of Super Saiyan style, this power ripples out of him, and the vibrations that it causes matches the rumbling in the ground, and it's like the whole rain pauses for a moment as the ripples travel through outwards, and the whole world lights up, and it's daytime all of a sudden. The moon is still in the sky, but that sun is blazing. Killian. Sorry.
Oh no.
No, we're okay. We're good. And the sun is blazing overhead. And I'm going to kick some ass. Where'd my other dice go? Oh. Okay. He goes to use some power, and that surge occurs, but there is no actual physical shockwave. And Smudge, what would you like to do? That was a fail roll, but I don't get to mark successes, so it's, or what is it, failures? Yeah. So I'm just
Probably because I'm in his face.
Yeah, he just couldn't even see where to direct his power. Old man is blind at the moment.
Smudge, with the power that Killian has given him and seeing this old man weakened, looks at Aledwin and says, "Do you trust me?"
Is he frozen?
Dude, if your internet
No,
freezes right now.
Oh, there we go.
Devin! You're frozen on the screen, though.
You may have to be vocal.
Are we good?
You're a little robotic.
We good?
Keep talking.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Hear me?
Yeah?
It's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
This, we good?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you trust me?
Now and forever.
I am going to use big magic, and I am going to turn to the high priest, and I am going to take all of that faith that Aledwin has in me and all of that certainty that I have gained from talking to Sehanine, and I'm going to say to him, "You think it's about you, and that you know who is a monster and who isn't. But I talked to Sehanine, and she is the goddess of illusion. And sometimes things aren't what they look like. But I think maybe we should make them so that they do. And I know that you and Bug Lady and Ivory and any other of the high elves are no better than any of us goblins. And I am going to purify all of the high elves of all of their fucking pretensions
Oh.
and turn them into goblins."
My fucking goodness. Okay. I'm into it. Yeah. I don't even know.
What?
Yeah. Okay. So, oh gosh, what do I want to require? You've got so many things buffing you right now. I think I'm just gonna get a good old-fashioned magic roll.
All right.
You're if you want to use your +3, I think at this point.
I'm going to use my last consequence free luck to make this happen.
Okay. With a 12. What does this look like?
I imagine it's almost like we've got the blazing sun and the moon is still up in the sky, and it's almost like there's a moment of total solar eclipse. And in that moment, a Lynn and a Ledwin and the high priest, and you can imagine all through the aisles, the ground is shaking and rising to meet the eclipse. But every single elf on the Lindor Isles has fallen to the ground. And it's like the extra substance of their flesh that had made them so much bigger and so much more beautiful is going into the island itself. And as the moon passes out from in front of the sun, you just see this ancient, withered goblin lying on the ground in front of Smudge, who's got, let's say, both of his arms raised as he's conjuring all of this power of the eclipse down into the world around him.
Is Faria just giving a bear hug now?
I think so.
Fun fact, I kind of planned for this.
What?
Are you kidding?
To a degree, not specifically, but
Okay, because I was going to say I came up with that like 3 minutes ago.
no, we'll talk after.
I must know everything.
I can actually read some of my script now. In the blink of an eye, you see, where did I have it? The hollowed out shell of what was once a majestic individual. The magic that had surrounded the form of the high priest has dissipated and soaked up into the sun. Laying on the ground in robes that are much too big is a sad, gnarled shell of a goblin. You can see his chest rising very slowly in the watery kind of breath that he takes, barely alive. I think, Ledwin, what would you like to do, my friend? I swear to God, if you're frozen in that pose, I'm gonna fire you.
Hilarious.
So you said the armor and clothing and that's not adjusting. So I imagine there's not much I can do right now.
So, sorry, this is a context question. You turned a Ledwin as well into a goblin?
Every single elf
Every
on
elf.
the Lindor Isles.
No
idea what happens to half elves. I don't know.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah, you're a little naked elf now, hanging out in clothes that are much too big.
Goblin.
So am I like trapped in
Goblin,
my
sorry.
armor?
Probably. It's heavy, too. Yeah, the initial hit of it all probably didn't feel great. Do not freeze on us, Devin. Don't.
No,
It's
I'm
so
good.
important.
I'm good.
Try again.
Lots of muffled screaming, and then a loud clunk as the armor falls over. Am I still good?
Yep.
Okay. And then I guess the arms just kind of fall into pieces this is.
Nope, you're not okay. Sorry, I got like the first sentence. I'm like, yeah, I totally hear
there's
you.
just
And then
gonna be
a robot.
and this is okay. I have a very important question.
Uh-huh.
Am I a pretty goblin? Like, am I at least like a nice looking goblin?
You only have one eye. So
I mean, aside from that,
yeah, by elf or by goblin standards? That's a really good question. To goblins, you're probably pretty good looking. To elves, you
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know.
I think you look alright. I imagine super hot to goblins.
I
Yeah.
would like somebody to Google super hot goblins.
Please don't. It's gonna be incredibly inappropriate. Let's.
There are some things that cannot be unseen.
It's true. It's true. I'm not saying I
Go
want
to
to do it.
single
Somebody should.
levels.
Wait, hold on. Let me put on safe search real quick.
I was just gonna say, yeah, turn on your safe search filter, please.
That.
Oh goodness. I'm so sorry, Devin. We will have to. Oh, he's disconnecting and reconnecting. Okay, we'll see what happens. This just means we'll be half people for a little bit. We can still roll. Oh, total none. Oh, he's still in audio, just not in video.
Cool.
Okay. That'll look good. Well, I wanted to take this moment to make a hard move against everyone. Oh, Devin, you're moving finally. Ah. Okay. However,
Okay.
everybody's in everybody else's spot.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
It's been one of those days, apparently.
I think so.
Didn't want the show to end.
Yeah, that's true.
They were like,
gonna go
oh,
on
we gotta
forever."
postpone it. Nope, we gotta postpone it and do it again some other time.
Well, we don't know what Smudge is the god of. Maybe Smudge could become the god of better internet connection.
Support
There you
that.
go.
Wireless magic.
Yes.
Oh,
Magic,
don't worry,
fix
I'll put
everyone's
that on my
wireless.
to-do list. I'll put that on my to-do list. Make better
It's a terrible
internet.
acronym.
I'm gonna call it Wi-Fi.
I think I liked Wimma? Wireless
Wimma.
magic. Wimma.
Women.
Why, ma?
Oh.
Boo is right. Your puns have been on point for every game except
It's
this.
true. There's at least been one incredible one every single thing.
Session's not over yet, Miriam. You still have time. Okay. I've got one more hard move that I can take. I have to clear my space because everybody can see my space, but it's for my own hand so I can place them on the table dramatically. This is why I'm such a good in-person DM. Like, online, you miss out so many of my hand gestures. The goblin that lays on the ground, it rolls over ever so slightly. It's having a bit of a hard time due to the physical constraints of the summoned creature that has continued to wrap itself around him. Everybody, I mean, I can imagine Gwen and Killian, you being so close to Elen, the visual shock potentially momentarily distracts you. Eledwin dealing with the physical changes of what just happened are a very viable distraction. And Smudge, you are coming down from the high of expelling such intense, powerful magic. And it's almost like those ripples that had been sent outwards by the high priest start to come back in. There we go. Mixed success. And the sun that was burning in the sky glows brighter and brighter until there is nothing but a white light that encompasses all. With his last ounce of strength, he uses the power of the sun. It's... I mean, he might be getting sunburned now. Sorry, Ledwin. It's a hot sun. It's a hot sun. The high priest uses the remaining power of his, frankly, evil sun powers to almost erupt a supernova around everyone. It's a feeling first. It's a hot, burning sensation. Faryad, you equated this at first with that feeling that you had when you had wrapped your arms around the high priest. It burned everything inside of you, and you've never felt a pain inside like that before. You hold on to what you believe is the right thing to hold on to. You have stuck to your morals, to everything that made you you. But in this white, powerful sun, you feel yourself come apart. And the magic that had once summoned you, it isn't of this world anymore. It's disappeared. And the parts of you that start to pull away, very much marveled, I don't feel so great.
Dust.
Parts of you start to turn into dust. They're gray at first, and they flake away into this bright nothingness, and there is nothing left of you anymore. Gwen, so we'll have to work on this with everybody else because I don't know what everybody else's harm rating is at.
Yes.
Ultimately, this is a 3 harm, no armor to everybody. You were standing next to your friends, next to Killian, somebody who you've shared a lot of adventures with, and this scorching sensation, it runs up and down your arms, and you can feel all the hairs on your body singe. It's almost like a steam burn where your skin is pink and it's hot and it's tender, and the burning starts to happen inside of your chest, and it's uncontrollable, and you don't know what to do with this pain until it vanishes. Where are you with 3 harm?
Trying to remember because I was fully healed. Was there another harm that happened after I was healed? I don't think so.
I don't think so. And yes,
So I'm at 3.
Okay. Are you stable or unstable?
Stable.
Excellent. You remain
Barely.
standing.
That's my last. Yes.
Killian.
Yeah.
That same burning sensation sears through your senses. Your eyes are on fire. Your missing arm feels like it's still there, and it burns as if you had tossed it into an oven. Your nerves tingle all around your body, and it's pain. It's pain like you've never experienced. It's pain that you didn't even think could be scientifically replicated, and it hurts. Where are you at with 3 harm?
Well, I never healed from the last time, so from 4 harm, I went to 7.
What? You just did positive math, not negative math.
Oh, sorry. I'm unstable, basically. I'm actually dead.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Okay. You hit the ground, and you breathe in just sunlight. Aladwin, your skin doesn't feel the way it's ever felt before. You have so much less of it, but the texture absorbs this sensation the way sun has never touched your body before. You're used to a hot, even searing, whereas this is like a tiny, like a million tiny hot needles that stab inside your flesh and stab inside your soul. It's not just the physical pain, but there is an emotional pain that accompanies this because you recognize that this power is everything that you never wanted to be inside of, a part of. This goes against everything that you stood for. How do you feel with 3 harm?
That's gonna hit me into unstable, but I'm still able to keep myself from anything lethal.
Okay. You probably hit the ground. I mean, you're already low to the
Yeah,
ground.
I think I'm gonna be honestly. I think the shock of immediately becoming small and not pretty is enough to knock me out. Let alone the searing pain that's also wrecking my skin. So it's just
Too much.
That was a lot.
I don't have the shell of my armor to protect me from the world anymore. So there's also another mental barrier that's just been broken down. So it's, you know what I'm gonna say. I actually
So many
like
levels to your suffering.
fall
So
into
much.
just fall into the fetal position and just start rocking back and forth, and just you can't really tell. It's not really raining anymore, or is it hot burning sun
It's
by
the rain
itself
has
now?
stopped, and it's just like it's a bright blue sunny day. The ground beneath you is still damp and soaked, and the ground is cracked,
Mhm.
but the sky is blue, and the lightness has faded. And this is the scene that we
But
now
the ground is
behold.
very like muddy, and
Yeah.
so I'm just kind of rocking back and forth in the mud, getting completely covered in it, and it's just mixing with tears and uh, bits
Muddy
of
goblin.
yeah, bits of my hair that's just all stringy now and splaying everywhere in the wetness.
It's not nice. I'm not picturing anything really nice. Before I move on to Smudge, Faryad, was there anything you wanted to kind of end your existence on this plane with?
I would like, as I sort of turn to sand, um, it sort of falls all over Killian and forms a protective barrier.
The shell encompasses the prone form of Killian, and you can retain 1 HP point. You're not
Okay.
stable, but you're
No,
breathing.
I'm dying is where I was at.
You're breathing now. There is air in your lungs despite that searing, burning pain. But you're with us.
Mm-hmm.
Smudge. You, like skid mark Smudge, you come back to you and you feel, okay. Can you give me one more act under pressure? Because I had 2 ifs for you, my friend, and none of my ifs are leaning.
Are there any other pluses and minuses beyond what's on my sheet?
Not for this, nope.
That's an 11.
You, skid mark Smudge, come back to your senses. There is no pain for you. There is no heat. There is no warmth. There is only your friends on the ground. You don't have any. You don't have any more hit boxes. Like, keep that in mind just for a moment. But you see.
And I cannot take any hit points, or I am healed, or.
I'll resolve that in a moment.
Okay.
But you come to yourself, your true self that you haven't felt in hours, and you see the scene before you. Faryad's no longer here. There's goblins on the ground, Killian on the ground, Elen, a goblin, and Gwen standing
Somehow the only one against all
Like,
odds.
Farhad! Your name!
You did stuff.
Oh,
You did stuff, so I'll commend you for it. Alright.
I'm going to turn to Gwen and I'm going to say, that didn't quite go to plan.
you think? I fumble around with all the healing stuff I had out. And Killian's the closest to me, so I would go straight to Killian and potion. I had a potion, so
Sweet.
Was that like our half a potion that was left, or like the full one?
I think I had a full one. I
Okay.
think
Yeah,
Killian
you had
used
you
one.
had two. Yeah, you had two.
Yeah.
I'd used like half of it.
Half of
and
one,
then
which we
I
could
had-
also give you that one. Well, we'll save maybe the half for a little one.
You gave one to me as well.
Oh, I did? Okay, so
Thought
maybe I don't. Oh no, do I not have one? So I will give you the half. The half.
Okay. One
Which is
more
better.
box to uncross. I think you're still unstable, but like you can be mobile with mild
I'm at 5.
consequences.
I'm
Okay.
at 5 now. So I'm
You're just
good.
one over unstable now?
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm going to, if I can still do stuff, I'm going to run over to the naked Aledwin, vulnerable on the ground and sobbing, and start rummaging through his, people are giggling. I don't know why. Like, and start rummaging through his armor looking for that healing potion that he had, and take it over and like just grab him and be like, no, you have to drink it. You have to.
Do you comply?
I'm gonna say I'm kind of too within myself to really see what's happening. So Smudge is gonna have to fight to get that down.
I pinch your nose closed so your mouth opens and pour it down your fucking throat.
Act under pressure? I love the dog just like deal with it.
Yeah, it's like the dog getting the pill.
It really is. That's a 12.
You are great at this.
You're very good.
So bizarre.
Maxed out my cool.
Good call. Yeah, Ledwin, you are. We'll heal you back. You're at max. That was a good HP pot. It was a good health potion. Your wounds are healed, but your mental scars.
My physical wounds.
Yes.
Well, what can be healed? The emotional ones as well definitely still remain.
In which case, I think I'm just gonna pass into a sort of relatively peaceful slumber and snore incredibly loudly.
Aw. What do we do now?
Is there any sign of Faryad anywhere?
I like to think they're a part of me now.
You're
Oh,
covered in sand.
Yeah, we would see the.
yeah.
Is it like the same color as your clay was? Yeah.
It doesn't match the ground, so it's not like it came from the ground. It's very Faryad like somehow.
Smudge is going to take Aledwin's cloak and wrap his sleeping body in it. And then he's going to go over to Faryad, or to Killian, and run his hands through all of the sand.
My hat and glasses are there, and the fake mustache.
Oh.
If they didn't get burned away by the supernova.
I'll let you have them here. We
I
need a
think-
memento.
I think Gwen is just going to kneel down next to Smudge and hug him and say, I'm so sorry.
I'll probably end up sitting up, and I'd probably end up saying the same thing. I know you promised that if I was to hurt him, you'd kill me, but at the same time I couldn't protect Smudge Faryad either. So again, I'm sorry.
I'm just going to pick up a couple of handfuls of sand and I'm going to take off my jacket, actually, my big fur coat, and lay it on the ground and start piling sand into it and just fold it into this very neat, which is unusual for Smudge, very neat package, and take it back over to where Aledwin is sleeping. And I'm going to sit next to Aledwin with one hand on him while I'm holding this sand. I'm going to say, you're all that's left of my clan now. And that's it. I don't think Smudge has any words after that.
I didn't want to end it here, but I feel like as a fitting conclusion, you've saved the world. There's nothing but chaos and sadness that surrounds you. But the apocalypse has been diverted. You've destroyed the cause, the catalyst. You've saved countless more children from being victims of that true abomination. We're going to do 2 post scenes. From a couple 100 feet away, you hear a loud shout. Hello? Is everybody okay over there? There was a really bright light and a lot of things happened, but my boat's still here. Do you want to ride?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I want to go home.
Rosebull brings you all to her boat, which coincidentally is on a little ravine that leads out into the water. And she takes the 4 goblins, if you count Smudge. The form of the high priest is not dead.
Oh.
Alen, snoozin'. Aledwin, snoozin'. Smudge, Killian, and Gwen. Rosebull brings you back to the Lendor Isles, where there is a crowd waiting on the docks. There you see what you imagine Jamila was once, the guildmaster. Instead, there is a tiny goblin with her even tinier goblin son wearing strangely fitting clothes. It's almost like they had a wardrobe for goblins or something. Looking very fashionable with their little Monster Hunter Guild pin. And they both wave a greeting at the boat as it begins to dock. As well, at the docks, there are a handful of tall figures. Gwen, you recognize the form of your parents. They're both teary-eyed. Your mother is sobbing a little bit, and your dad's trying to keep a straight face. When you reach the docks, the first thing they do is pull you into a tight embrace and apologize about not trusting you about the apocalypse. They apologize about not listening to you when you spoke, and most importantly, they apologize about not treating you with the respect that you deserved. Killian, there's also the tall form of your father, a much more stoic man than the Vicens. However, Mr. Wild reaches out and pats your shoulder.
Oh, fuck.
He eyes your missing arm. I'll make you a new one.
Let's just fix this one for now, and I'll just regrow the other.
Sounds like a plan, son. There's a handful of other familiar faces at the docks. A small cheer goes up at the arrival, but mostly everybody is surrounding you, asking you questions. Ultimately, Jamila stands on top of a little box to gain some height and makes an announcement. I want to thank these brave souls for saving the Lendor Isles. We knew that there was trouble coming, and we did nothing to stop it. I think that a lot of the citizens here have plenty to think about, and I think it's really important that we take a moment to recognize these heroes, the ones who made it and the ones who didn't, and respect everyone for what they're capable of. And she puts her head down for a moment of silence. 1 year from now has passed. It is the same day as the apocalypse. Devin.
What
What is happening?
Oh boy!
You're great.
All right, I'll take it. Okay. Kudos to you.
How does everybody spend their day? I just want a closing scene. How have you lived your life, and how do you spend the anniversary of the day that you saved the world?
Okay.
Free for
Man.
all.
Man.
Want to go first?
No pressure.
Right.
All right. So in that year, I've gotten the arm back. I got myself a.
Did you grow your arm back?
Yeah,
Gross.
like I said, it was. Oh, trust me, the first 3 months it was very gross and
Did you
very
have a little
painful shedding
baby
process.
arm?
Yeah, the whole thing. It was a whole Deadpool sequence. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. Afterwards, I got together with Rose. I've raised Bolero. They're like we're all living together for the most part, and I'm now head of the scientific guild. That's basically what ended up happening. So on that day, when I got up. I kind of didn't want to disturb Rose while she was asleep, so I got up as quietly as possible, and I just put my arm. Yeah, I didn't need her waking up right now. She's carrying my child right now, so I left the room and I went to go check on Bolero, telling her, "Hey, wake up! We're gonna go somewhere special," and that's basically kind of what we did. I left a little small note and breakfast for Rose, sounding like me and Bella, we went out, be back later.
Perfect. And pause. Gwen, how have you spent your year and what are you doing today?
I think what Gwen has done, I've had so many options of what I could do with her. And I think I can combine a couple of them, which is great. I think in this year, she has spent the time helping to rebuild what she can. But she has also, there was probably a little time where that approval from her family felt so good. But then it just hit this point where she's like, I had to save the fucking world to get it. And I am over this. So she kind of has broken away from the Monster Hunter Guild. And by kind of, I mean completely. She didn't want to be a part of that anymore because she felt that organization was not benefiting. And she's hoping that in their rebuilding, they'll do better. But I think she just felt they weren't helping the way they should be or could be helping. And so she probably worked a little bit for Killian because he had made that offer. But I think even then she just it's not quite where she wanted to be. So she's kind of been bouncing around, building up her own personal library, living her life. And she has secured a ticket to leave the Isles and go to the mainland and see if there's something for her there. So this is I've decided this is her last day here, and tomorrow she is leaving because she wanted to see this day out with everybody, but she doesn't feel like this place is home anymore.
That's excellent.
Hmm.
Aledwin,
Well,
how have
been
you
an
spent?
interesting year.
Yeah.
I bet.
What was the adjustment like? Your people, like their whole entire the architecture was not built for goblins. Like
If you
so
thought
many
stairs were a
problems.
problem before,
Mm-hmm.
well, let me tell you. So Eledwen had a lot of things to deal with. We had to basically install a bunch of very immaculate high chairs that
High chairs and those like chairs that like will take you up the stairs for
yeah. And the first several months of Elven civilization was really just a giant kind of culture shock.
you. Yeah.
And we immediately had to begin making all the stairs lower. We had to start lowering all the door hinges and door handles.
Door handles.
You know,
Yeah,
there's a lot of things you don't think about when you're so tall all the time, and now we have to kind of deal with that. It's been a very humbling circumstance. And sinks, mirrors, counters, tables. There's been a lot of sawing going on.
Mm-hmm. I've been helping along with the process and so on.
Who is in charge of this? Is it still a church? Have you kept it as a church?
Well, one of the first things Elidwin had to do was get Killian to back off about growing him a new eye.
Yeah, like I asked him, like, listen, it's a little bit painful at first, but eventually you get used to it, and then the pain subsides, and you get your 20/20 vision back. I mean, for me, I lost a complete arm, and it was a bitch. I feel like you losing an eye would have been less painful.
Yeah, but you see, Eledwin's just started going on about how, well, this is his penance he must bear. It's a reminder of the day he had to, and then Killian would just walk off and wave his hands. Whatever.
I'm like, fine, go ahead. Just come to me whenever you decide you want to change your mind.
So instead, he wears an eye patch because it looks great, and he does the best. It's the best he can do to accessorize his goblin face. Eye patches look really good on goblins, turns out.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's one of the ways he's been able to accessorize his new form. He's tried various different. Silver doesn't really go well with green, but he's doing his best. But
it's
no, yeah,
black works with everything.
he at first he was very cold towards Smudge, because pretty much he put his faith into him, and on the surface a lot had changed, but as the days kind of went on and Eledwin ended up having to take on more and more responsibility to help everybody adjust and to help the church kind of rebuild and restructure itself, he kind of started to do a lot of introspection and realize that this was probably the best way without any further bloodshed or potential harm. And so he immediately decided to try and find Smudge to apologize and rejoin the clan, as it were.
Who is snoring so intensely? I'm going through muting everyone. Is it somebody's dog? I'm really impressed. I'm so sorry.
I was wondering, like, who was that? And I was like, oh, let me mute myself. No, it's not me because it's still going.
No, I'm impressed with them.
Yeah.
Your relationship has certainly changed with Smudge. Has it grown in any kind of positive way over the past year?
The first little bit there would have been a lot less, but it's going to kind of depend on, I guess, what Smudge was up to. But Eledwin would have at first reluctantly kind of thought, you know what, maybe that was the only way, and then tried to recompense and apologize.
Okay. Smudge. The first thing that became clear after being the chosen who stopped the apocalypse was that you yourself had changed. You weren't quite a goblin anymore. You were something a little bit more godlike. You could never really die before, and that power still exists within you. But you don't feel pain, you don't feel hot, you don't feel cold, but you know in your soul that you will probably live a very, very long time. How has this year been for you?
I think the first part of the year was also quite hard for Smudge. And the time that it took Aledwin to realize all of those incredibly generous things and come back was maybe the loneliest time in Smudge's existence, which is kind of saying something. I think he also, the lack of physical feeling for him really impacted. And player scrambling because I'm trying to figure out what that would be. And I think it probably went to his head for a little bit. And he tried to do all sorts of stupid things, and none of them worked very well.
Can you tell me too?
He started bar fights.
What? Definitely how you get his attention.
He started bar fights and would just beat the crap out of everyone, but there was no challenge in it. There was no enjoyment. And he would just look at the defeated foes in front of him. And he would remember he would remember being pushed down in the water. And he would remember the fear that he felt in front of something so much bigger than he was. And pretty quickly, he decided he didn't want to do that anymore. And I think he tried to do so many things. He tried to wiggle so many different directions out of having any responsibilities. He tried to go back to the mainland and find his clan. He tried to round up all of the frogs that survived the apocalypse and start breeding them. He tried to do all of these things and they all failed miserably. And he always felt that tug from Sehanine as he had redevoted himself to her, pulling at the core of him. And he always felt this tug of Faryad's loss. And he never became good, because that's not who Smudge is. But he decided that maybe he could open up his definition of clan a little bit wider. And maybe he could start looking after some of them. And so he went back to the Church of Sehanine. And the very first thing he did was drain that fucking fountain and declare it would never be refilled. But he opened up the doors of the church, and he opened up as much as he could to everyone who was on the Isles and lost. And I imagine there were a lot of former elves who are now having major identity crises.
Oh, yeah. That's a lot to reconcile.
And would spend a lot of time telling them that if Sehanine could pick him out of all the creatures in the world, disgusting him, maybe she could be okay with them too. And that might be the best they would get out of this life, so they better get used to it.
Still very Smudge-like.
And the anniversary of Faryad's death, he took the sand that he had gathered in the coat that he had kept all of that time. And he took it out to the fountain. And he put it in the now empty fountain, which had been dry for almost a year. And with a whole devoted heart, with, if you're okay with this, a Ledwin at his side, he just quietly said a prayer to Sehanine, asking that she give Faryad one last blessing.
I think it's reasonable to say that you are joined, in fact, by Killian, Bolero, and Gwen. This was an arranged meeting place. You all wanted to pay your respects to the friend that had always been there for everyone. They had remained so sturdy and so firm in everything that was them, and that is deserving of respect and recognition. And I think that's it. The end. Thank you, everyone. I don't even know, how do you end things?
Just like that.
You know what's funny is I had way more to say about my whole in the year thing, but I didn't want to take up a whole bunch of time, so I really fast forward through everything. I'm like, I grew an arm, I got married, got a baby on the way, I got a foster kid. There you go.
No, I'm really happy that you slid in yeah, Rose is just sleeping there and she's just there.
That makes me so happy. That's my favorite subplot that came to fruition.
Honestly, it was so great.
It was very good.
Whew. Okay, closing speeches. Thank you, everyone. This was an emotional drain, but in a really interesting way. This has been my first This is the first campaign that I've ever finished. I don't do endings very well. I'm terrible with wrapping things up, which is why I had 4 pages of notes, and I really only used 1.5. Not bad. Yeah, just it was a lot. But to close this properly, as always, my name is Bianca Zelda, your DM, your game master, your keeper, your person whose soul has escaped their body. You can find me on Twitter as Bianca Zelda, or anywhere, really. I make podcasts. I do the Broadswords. I make another podcast called Facades of Gods, where I play a cop. After I just said this was draining, there's so many games that I still want to be able to play, and one-shots, I think, are what appeals to me. So maybe we'll get together for a one-shot of something in the future, because I really like this group, and I think we have some really good roleplay working, roleplay collaborations. Mm-hmm. So everybody,
hopefully I'll have a better computer.
You were fine. I mean, you popped in and out here and there, which we made it work. It was okay.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, with that being said, Norman, what closing speech? Do you have a speech written? Who would you like to thank? The Academy?
Oh God, no. What's funny about it was that I thought I was to die, and I even had a will written out.
Can you read the will, please? Because okay. I was having a day when I read that. I was like, no, he can't fucking die now. It's too much.
It's so good.
Okay, so this is what I wrote down. Right, it says, "Dear Gwen, if you're reading this, then it means I've died, and I've disappointed you. First, I want you to know that I knew joining the Monster Hunter Guild had some safety hazards, but we did the jobs to the best of our ability and never apologized for it. Now, I know you've been crying over my death, and I want you to know that it's okay. You have to be strong and take down those big bags. Anyway, in case of my death, I leave you my house to take care of Valera and yourself. Please help her with her homework and have her eat her vegetables so she gets big and strong. I'm leaving you and Valera 8,000 each. It's not much compared to what you're making, but nonetheless, I know you manage Valera's money till after she's finished college. I want to thank you for being my oldest friend and ask you to forgive me for dying against your wishes. Remember that time when we were kids and I made you that flower crown out of lilacs and sunflowers? You must have worn it everywhere that you asked me to make you another one after that last one, wilted. or the time a bad storm hit and you introduced me to hot cocoa and strawberry marshmallows. We
Strawberry
had
marshmallows.
ups and downs, but I'm glad it was with you. Well, Gwani, it's time for me to wrap this up and hopefully make you richer. Goodbye, Killian Gaius Wild.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was too much.
Norman.
I was super ready to kill you though. And
It almost
Miriam.
happened.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh fuck, I'm dead.
It was only through the power of friendship and why Faryad was still your friend despite your many attempts to experiment on them. I don't know.
Hey, you did get a sample of me after all.
Yeah, it just happens to be inside my lungs, so
Great,
whatever.
great. Fine.
I'll take what I can get.
But yeah, so sorry, tell me about your concluding thoughts. And where we can find you online.
Well, first of all, that was just amazing. I'm glad I got to play with you guys. I would totally do this again, but not again like you, not in a stream format. Just something online for us to play and just continue the story because this was amazing, and I'm gonna miss this arc. I'm gonna miss all you guys. But if anything, if you want to find me on Twitter, it's at Norman Lambert 45, where I chose either I'm talking about why Scooby Doo isn't on the air anymore, or the good kind, or
Sure.
D&D stuff here and there, random thoughts. Yeah, you can follow me there. Or if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at the _faded Titan.
All one word?
No, it's underscores under between each words. So yes, the _faded Titan.
Perfect. Excellent.
Yeah, and just find me asking more questions about Killian if you want. I have a whole much more about what happened during that year that were not so good and not so bad.
We'll just write fan fiction to each other until the end of time.
There you go.
Please. Sweet, I'll drop some for y'all. I got something.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, love fanfiction.
Yeah, and one last thing. Before Gwen leaves, I'm gonna give her a little small box that has I had a custom made flower crown for her that's actually made out of like jewels that looks like the flowers that I said.
That's so pretty.
So whenever like she misses like the aisles, me, the rest of the gang, she could just look at that or wear it or whatever. And
I would tell
remember
everybody
home.
too that they could come visit me once I get settled. So like,
yeah,
we'll see each other again. It's not forever. Goodbye. Just
Temporarily.
yeah.
With that being said, Carly, ending thoughts. How do you feel about your character? Where she went? The expert was so interesting to me. I think out of everybody, I had the hardest time giving you enough chances to be you.
Yeah, I could see that. It's hard because she really isn't meant for combat. Like it's not her thing. So
we both weren't.
I know. You were even still better than I was. You had a couple more options than I did. And there were some things, part of it, I think, if I played the expert again in the future, there was some like other moves I could take that would have potentially benefited combat that I just didn't take because it wasn't her style. Mm-hmm. So it was partially on me. But
you played to your character, that's what counts.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. I really love Monster of the Week. I hadn't played any Proud by the Apocalypse games or anything before, so this was great. This was a great intro. So fun. Like the best crew to play with. It was the best. And yeah, I really love how she ended up. I felt like she had a really good arc that was nice and not what I predicted when it started. So
you had the most like human interactions out of everybody is like the best way I could put it. Like everything was so domestic for you.
Yeah.
Your relationship with your parents, the research that you were capable of doing. Like, you had your own library, like you had resources, a house, a family. Like, you were the most normal, stable character that was developed, which was an interesting contrast to all the wild folks that we had.
Yeah. I've always kind of she was kind of one of the first ones I did this with, but I always love that concept of like somebody who doesn't have this horribly traumatic background. They just are a person in this world living their life. And I think it's really fun to do that sometimes.
I think she did great just being a normal human and existing.
Well, thanks.
Where can we find you online?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Carly221B. You can find me on Instagram. It's just Carly OB, one word. And then I actually just started a new Instagram because I'm going through the Great British Bake Off cookbook. And so I'm putting all of my like baked goods on there now. And that's,
I'm following that.
yeah, it's GBBO wannabe, all one word.
Okay.
And wannabe is WANNBE or ABE. There we go.
Will you type that in our chat and I'll follow you?
Yes, I will.
Same.
I've only got one set of cookies on there, but there's more to come.
I look forward to it.
Yes.
Miriam, you are so great. Not past tense. You're alive. You're alive and well. You are marvelous. Thank you so much for being okay dying. You were one of my favorite players because you just let me throw things at you. And that's really cool, and I don't have to be super, I guess, restrictive. So as a player, you are everything I adore. Do you have any like closing speeches? How do you feel? You're dead. You still look great.
Why?
Yeah. So this doesn't really smudge. So I'm gonna have this mustache for my next game.
Excellent. Yes.
This is waterproof mascara. Eyeliner that I put on my.
Oh, you did so hard. I love it. Oh, I love you so much right now.
Oh, it's fine. Everything's fine. You look great.
Everything's fine. But yes, I really love this game. I'm starting I've been playing nothing but D&D up until maybe a couple of months ago.
Oh.
So playing all these new systems, including like PBTA, it's starting to become my jam because it's so great to just roll with stuff and just see where the dice fall, but it's not complicated. It's just like, well,
yeah, it's less intense.
there's three options. You either do it, there's like some mixed success, or you do it really well.
Yep.
And so much so that I'm exploring Sarzamine and other systems. I'm running it in Dungeon World, so
Ooh, I love that.
my September short shot is going to be in Dungeon World.
Ooh, I like that term, short shot. Is that like a...
it's a term mostly used in Welcome to the Party, which is sort of like a short mini-series.
Ooh, okay. See,
Yeah,
appeals.
so it's only 4 episodes long, and it's only going to run through September.
Okay, no, I think that's excellent. I love Dungeon World. I'm yet to play anything with that system or that universe. But I look forward to everything that you're capable of.
Yeah, and if we're doing one shots and stuff, I'd love to run something for all of you, and I would love to play in anything you all are coming up with.
Kids in Space is my next project.
Ooh.
So we'll talk. I gotta run a practice run first. So yeah, we'll see.
I'm also doing a lot of sci-fi too. It's not my jam. It's not really been my jam, but like the next season, I'm doing mostly sci-fi things. So
love sci-fi. It's like I've got a soft spot for it. Just like it, yeah. I could gush about it, but you've all heard it.
Yeah.
Where can we find you online, Miriam?
So I'm on Twitter at media_junkie. That's where you can see me retweet a bunch of awesome BIMPOC people, punching Nazis, and all that stuff. And sometimes gaming, mostly gaming. Who am I kidding? It's always gaming.
That's very real. Yeah.
And a lot of decolonized fantasy and stuff like that. and I practically live online on the weekends with a lot of the shows that I'm doing.
I can
And
believe it.
there's more coming out. And yeah, so media_junkie on Twitter is where you can find out all that information.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, before we go, can I do a thing like after everyone says their things?
Write it down so you don't forget.
All right.
Because I won't remind you.
No, I know what I want to do. It's more like to leave a plot if we ever do get back to who are the monsters.
Leave a note. Devin.
No left.
How are you feeling? I mean, I want to take a moment to thank you so much for your contributions. You were one of the first. You were like the third DM I'd ever had DM a game for me in like my entire D&D experience, and your storytelling capabilities shifted the way that I became, that I wanted to tell stories. So I personally find this as a really cool opportunity that I got to tell a story for you that you got to be a part of.
Well, I feel great now. I was feeling pretty melancholy about everything ending, but now I feel pretty good. So.
Oh gosh. I mean, like, yeah, story-wise, how are you holding up? How do you feel about the character that you made and how he ended up?
Pretty good. I wasn't expecting to be a goblin. I'm gonna tell you that much. Outside of that, though,
Sorry,
yeah.
not
I mean,
sorry.
no, it's great. I just wish we had planned something. I could have had like ears to throw on, but yeah, no, it was. I'm pretty happy with how it went. This has been an incredible journey for me. I've really enjoyed every single second I've spent doing this. That includes all the off-stream time collaborating with Shannon and Norman and everybody else. It's been it's one of those things.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
On long drives, I'm just thinking about things. I'm like, oh, I could do that. Maybe we could try this. Like, just it's one of those things that just keeps me going. And in all honesty, it has actually really helped me come out of some bad spots that I've been in the last few weeks. So
You and me both, man.
I'm actually, yeah. I mean, really, the only thing is I'm just really upset that it's all going to be over today.
No.
We'll just watch it on YouTube and relive it all.
I mean, we gained
Really?
friendship out of it, so like,
Yeah.
I think that's
Oh,
a
for
pretty good
sure.
win.
Yeah, no, the whole group has just been so phenomenally positive and supportive of everything that you all got me to do all kinds of weird outfits on stream. So hey, but I'm wearing all kinds of weird stuff.
Totally
And,
worth.
yeah, it's great.
worth it all.
Let's look at Shannon as well. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I mean, like I cosplay and stuff, but it's more anonymous. This is like much more personal. So
100%.
yeah, great. I feel way more confident in my own self and my own being now than I ever did before we started it. So.
Don't tell me that. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm so happy. Tell me where do you exist on the internet? Can we find you, follow you? Yeah,
mostly
observe
on Twitter.
All your activities.
Yeah, mostly on Twitter at DonMeGoldenSun. I'm in Huntsville right now, and I just went into the local game shop, and they had one of those gumball machines filled with dice.
Those
It was
exist?
the best thing ever.
Oh my gosh.
I got
Manhattan,
a
there's
D4
one there
and a
too.
D6, and it's great.
Did you use your new D6?
I did, yes.
Nice.
So yeah,
well.
that was really cool. So I like to post things like that, as well as things I'm doing, things that are coming up. Like I think I mentioned last week, me and a couple other people are going to be doing another stream in the next few weeks. That's going to be interesting. I'm playing a bard who sings sea shanties, which has annoyed the heck out of my entire family because all I'm doing lately is just blaring sea shanties all the time. I'm like, oh, this would be a good one for this spell, and this would be a good one for this spell.
Oh my word.
But you can look forward to hearing my terrible singing voice.
Have to check it out exclusively for your singing.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I think it'll be really good.
We'll tune in.
We'll support your songs. Finally, my Kate. Shannon, thank you is the beginning. You worked with me so much. But it was so difficult because you're tossing so many things at me, and I'm like, yes, I love this. That's fantastic. But I'm like, I can't use all of this. And like, what do I do? And there were so many times where I'm like, yes, this is going to happen as a result of the information that you just provided. I'm like, nope, that's my player. Keep it to myself. It was hard, but like, I love just literally collaborating with you online, offline. Like, this whole experience was fantastic. And your role playing skills are top notch. It was just like, it was so nice being able to play this game with you.
Thank you. It's my first time playing online in stream, and it's been really lovely all around. And I just want to say to everyone here, this is probably the safest I've ever felt at a table, which is huge in terms of being willing to take some of those role-playing risks. And also a huge thanks to Greyhawk Channel for hosting such a beautiful table. And hopefully I'll keep doing it, and would love to keep playing with all of you guys, obviously.
Yes.
I think we can work something out. Okay. Well, excellent. Thank you. If everybody had enjoyed this, if you watched even a snippet of it and you're like, yeah, that's cool shit, consider subscribing to the Greyhawk Channel Patreon. It is greatly appreciated, and it helps creator continue to produce more fantastic works like this. If Patreon is something that you're not comfortable with, you're welcome to join our Discord and just like hang out, chat, scream into the void, and we'll scream back.
Yeah. Or come to youtube.com/Greyhawk Channel, and you can watch all our past stuff back there.
Forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good pitch.
No problem. I'm so used to shilling, it's like literally second nature to me.
You'd think I'd be better at it, but it takes time, it takes work. Anyways, let's do our traditional wave awkwardly at the camera for 50 seconds while I press all the buttons. Thank you.
Bye.